Our institutions should nurture a culture of collective solidarity and inclusivity so that women judges can excel. Because advancing the mental well being of women judges is not only a personal task, it is a matter of shared responsibility and moral obligation. Hello, kamusta? I'm Judge Faith from the Philippines. I serve as a first level court judge, having been appointed in March 2023. Beyond the bench, I am a mother of two wonderful boys and a wife to a supportive husband. My journey in the judiciary has been both rewarding and eye-opening. It has exposed me to several challenges, particularly the mental health concerns faced by women judges and court personnel. With our case dockets ranging from 800 to 1,200, the overwhelming workload often causes anxiety and burnout for me and my staff. This interview is a personal act of showing up for myself. I recognize that I experience imposter syndrome because despite my degrees and achievements, I believe my faculties are never enough. Participating in this activity helped me realize how such feelings significantly affect mental health and that these struggles are not mine alone to carry. To cope with the pressures of judicial work, I turn to creative outlets. I design upcycled clothes like these using Philippine handmade indigenous weaves. I also cultivate green spaces and I grow herbs and medicinal plants. These activities help me find my balance and restore my well being despite the demands of judicial life. I think that one of the biggest mental health challenges women judges face today is the constant pressure to prove our competence in the face of systemic gender bias and stereotypes. Women judges carry the same responsibilities as our male colleagues, yet we face unique pressures rooted in gender bias. Our competence is often judged through stereotypes linked to menstruation, pregnancy, motherhood, or age, rather than merit. Women are generally seen to be too soft for competition and too nurturing for leadership, thus, less adept than our male counterparts. I often encounter remarks in the court, such as, that woman judge decided the case in favor of the child because she herself is a mother. That woman judge denied my motion. She is irritable during the hearing. She's probably having her period. That young woman judge, though inexperienced, is better than the older woman judge who is very antiquated in her decorum in court. These create constant pressure to prove ourselves. These systemic gender biases that continually question our competence heightens stress and contributes to mental unhealthiness. On top of it all, our society often expects women judges to balance heavy judicial workloads with family and caregiving roles, as if we can do everything effortlessly. This unrealistic demand leads to burnout, made worse by the pressure to endure these challenges in silence. I believe that peer networks are safe spaces where women can share their experiences, where they can validate struggles and access meaningful support. It is where women judges can seek guidance without fear of judgment. In these circles, we are reminded that we are not alone, that others understand, and that support is always within reach. Beyond peer networks, there must also be a strong institutional support. This support can take in the form of intervention programs, resilience trainings, confidential counseling that truly promote overall well-being. Through these efforts, women judges, we feel seen, we feel valued, and we feel that we are being taken care of by our institutions. Most importantly, these efforts must be accompanied by systemic reforms, such as gender-sensitive policies, to break stereotypes and to promote a culture of genuine inclusivity where women judges can thrive. In our court, it's a small one but with a big docket. We have introduced several initiatives which include both structural and personal ones. On the structural side, we have improved workspaces, formalized workflow charts, and created communication tools and digital platforms for litigants. These tools have helped us manage the heavy caseload more efficiently. These efforts collectively made our daily work more manageable and helped us reduce our stress and burnout. On the personal side, we regularly conduct informal peer circles, mindfulness sessions, wellness meditations, competence workshops, health tracking, and even community activities. These personal side initiatives have all eased our stress because these activities, which we do outside of court work, are intentional for us because we intentionally don't have to think about our cases or deadlines. These activities for us serve as a breath of fresh air, which allow us to recharge and which have positive impacts on our mental health. I believe that the most urgent reforms are those that break stereotypes and remove systemic barriers. So we need gender sensitive policies that recognize women's unique realities like periods, pregnancy, and motherhood. Apart from policies, there also have to be structured mental health programs, confidential counseling, and resilience training, which must be institutionalized so that judges will feel supported and not overlooked. Likewise, creating equal opportunities for career advancement and leadership, like this activity now, is very essential. So women judges are not confined to certain case types or roles. Most importantly, our institutions should nurture a culture of collective solidarity and inclusivity so that women judges can excel. Because advancing the mental well-being of women judges is not only a personal task, it is a matter of shared responsibility and moral obligation. Thank you. Thank you so much.